everyone. Welcome. We're still going on with the Freelancers Summit 2022, our second edition. And this one is special. I'm here with my brother, Wayne. He's an amazing, help to us as AfriBlocks has been, looking at the stuff that we're doing, giving us, that point of view that I don't have as a founder, as a first-time founder. So that has been super helpful. So we thought, let's invite him to give us, a perspective around funding. And the topic we have today is the evolution of funding for Black founders. So Wayne, you can introduce yourself to our audience, and then, we'll get on to the chat.
Well, Tongayi, I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for allowing me to be here. It's an absolute pleasure to be joining this Freelancer Summit. And, what better way to come together with Black and brown people from around the diaspora, from around the world, to talk about what it means to be a freelancer. And so I think that that's particularly a special topic for us in 2022, because we know that the world of work has changed so much, and thus the future of work will be very, very different from what we've known in the past. From entrepreneurship all the way through to, just being a freelancer and being able to work for even bigger companies or one-on-one clients to use all of your capital in your brain and then the thing that you know. So by way of quick introduction, my name is Wayne Kimball Jr. I am a principal of mergers and acquisitions and enterprise strategy at Google Incorporated, where I work directly overseeing the deal flow, quite candidly, for Google Cloud. Outside of my day work, I am also an angel investor. I'm the managing partner of Sega Capital. And so I'm very proud of the work that I do in that space, because I'm very much invested in angel investing with Black and brown founders, right? Because I think it's so important that we continue to encourage our very own to build cap tables for their businesses that look like them. And, I'll talk about it a little bit further in our conversation around some of the things I'm doing both at Google as well as outside of Google to really help support Black founders.
Great. So something that I realized or noticed with some talks is, especially in funding, capital raising, people just get in and just assume, everyone who's on the conversation already know. So I would like to actually take us back to, the types of funding that are out there. Talk about, VCs, talk about angel investing, talk about even the stages, pre-seed, seed, Series A, so that, our audience can actually go that back, and then we build up to the meat.
Sure thing. And I think that's a great question. So when we talk about the different types of in investing or raising, if you will, I think it's really important. Let's first start talking about the non-diluted funds, right? It is so important that, and this isn't just for Black and brown founders, but for founders in general. When you are first starting out, it's so important to really dig deep, search all over the internet, use your networks to find those places where you can get funds that will not dilute your equity of the company. Because you don't want to be dealing with the stress of dilution while you're still trying to get the plane off the ground, right? And so those are programs like the Google Black Founders Fund, or those are things like pitch competitions, where even though the prize money may only be $5,000 or 10,000, that can get you through a couple more months, right? And then it also saves you from having to, like I said, dilute your cap table. There's some other things out there that, Tongayi, I know you can speak about very directly, which is like things like Techstars, right? That's not directly non-diluted funds, but it's also not venture capital funding either, right? So that's where you are really partnering with a company or a accelerator, where you're getting not only skills, but you're also getting exposure. You're getting relationships and networks, and you're also getting a little money. Now, it's not as much money as you might typically get from a venture capital fund, but conversely, you're also not giving up as much space on the cap table as you would typically give, right? So that's kind of that middle ground. And then you also have, of course, your traditional venture capital funding. The thing I just want to call out there is yes, there is tons and tons and tons of money in the venture capital space, even for Black founders. Now, yes, it's a whole conversation in and of itself around like we still aren't getting enough funding and investments out of the VC world. However, VCs are all about making money, making returns, right? So Black, brown, purple, or blue, if you can show that you can give them financial returns, you will be able to find funding. And we can talk more about that. And then to bring it full circle to me and where I invest is angel investing, right? Angel investing is a very special type of funding and is very special to me because I personally believe that for the founder and for the startup, angel investing is really important because that when you have someone that is willing to write an angel check to you, that means that they believe in you, right? And I can't say that enough. They may like the idea, they may like the company, but they're investing in the founder. So yeah, you know, with angel investing, it's all about like, I believe that Tongayi, even if his solution fails, I believe that Tongayi is the right person to try to solve the problem, right? So that's why I think with angel investing, you have to be very, very keenly focused on two things. From an investor side, we're focused on, do we believe in that founder? On the opposite side, that founder, yes, you can go out taking a bunch of angel checks, but that doesn't really make the most sense. You want to be accepting angel checks from people who are willing to lean in, who will help you fight the battles, overcome the obstacles, help connect you, help help you get through those early days. And so that's why I think though it is very important to delineate upon those different types of funding. But I'll stop there, Tongayi, because I know you might have some more questions. Got you.
Yeah. So I think we have been blessed to actually go through three types of funding. We've had small angel checks. We've went through Techstars Accelerator, which was more than helpful because you're not only getting the funding, but you're also getting, the community, the resources that they have been building for years. A meeting that would have taken you, 3 months to connect to someone is just literally in front of you on your calendar, and you get to talk to this founder, to this investor. And then, we've also had a non-dilutive funding from Google, which was and still is super helpful. You also get the community. So, I just thought let me mention that as well. But taking to the next question for you is, as a Black founder, how do you effectively raise? Because there's this, thought, I don't know if it's true or not, that the methods that everyone else uses will probably be different for you as a Black founder, or as a minority founder, or a diverse founder. Talk about women, talk about Black founders. Like, how effectively can you raise?
Yeah, that's a really interesting phenomenon, right? Like, if we begin to break it down, because again, I want to reiterate for this audience, Tongayi, that raising funds as a Black founder is not insurmountable. It's not impossible, right? And too often I think that we might see it as, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get funding because there are not enough people that look like me. Well, first and foremost, let me tell you that that's not true. There are more Black angel investors, there are more Black venture capital firms than there ever have been. So it's as good of time to be raising funds as a Black or diverse founder now than there ever has been. But then I want to go to the fundamental piece, Tongayi, if we can. And that is, I think not enough people talk about this, right? Is being able to prove that you have solved an actual problem. I see a lot of pitch decks, and I talk to a lot of founders day in, day out, Black, non-Black, and the common theme I see is that everybody thinks that they have solved the world's biggest problem, or that they are solving the world's biggest problem. And that is fine. Trust me, I love moonshot thinking. I love people with big imaginations and really audacious goals. But I think it's important that we, as Black founders, we have to be a step ahead, right? And what do I mean by that? We have to go into a conversation, not just with an idea, not even with just a proof of concept, but we have to be able to say, this is the problem we're trying to solve. Oh, and this is the work that we have done to prove that there is actually a need for this. And then we need your money to help us validate this product market fit. Too often, I meet with people, Tongayi, and then, they start pitching to me and I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. And they're all excited. But then when I start asking them about questions like, okay, how are you going to sell it to the market? Do you even know how much people want to pay for it? Or different things like that. They're not able to answer those questions. So that's why I wanted to go to the fundamentals of, you need to be able to talk about how you have already began doing some of that discovery, what I call customer discovery, to see, okay, what type of people like it? What type of surveys have you done? How much boots on the ground research have you facilitated? And how have you implemented that into your product, into your go-to-market strategy, into your into your product roadmap? And then that's when you have a conversation with an investor, whether it be angel or institutional. Now we can have a broader conversation about, I see why I'm willing to write you a $100,000 check, because my $100,000 check is not going to be spent on administrative costs or you trying to do surveys, but it's going to be spent on driving the go-to-market strategy and the sales functions for you to sell to the people that you've already proven want your product. I just cannot underemphasize the fact that product market fit and having done the initial discovery around customer desire and customer sentiment is so very important.
Got you. So going to the topic about the evolution for funding for Black founders. So I guess over the past 2-3 years, there's been, Black Lives Matter. We've seen commitments from, organizations coming from all over the place. Some commitments have been fulfilled, some have not. But the question is, you as a VC literally doing the work every single day, what shift or evolution have you seen in that space?
Absolutely. Well, I think that, first and foremost, like I mentioned earlier, that one of the biggest changes I've seen is there is a hyper awareness around supporting Black entrepreneurs and Black startups. In the past, it was mostly the talk around Black owned business, right? Like, I'm gonna go support the Black store on that side of town. I'm gonna stop by the Black gas station by my house.
Yeah, and you get there and you're looking for a discount.
Exactly, right? Like you get there, you're looking for a discount, and and don't get me wrong, like I'm still happy to support the chicken shack down the corner, that's Black owned. I'm happy to go to the store that's Black owned. But now what I've seen is there is this true emergence and this surge of Black talent that is saying, I want to leverage the digital world. I want to leverage, this technological boom for me to be an entrepreneur. And I think that first and foremost gives so much skill and so much opportunity to our community. And then on top of that, we have seen more Black investors, angel and VCs, than ever before, right? From the Harlem Capitals and the Collab Capitals to Backstage, and I could keep naming. I think it's super dope that now we're starting to see Black startups and Black entrepreneurs saying, hey, I just raised $10 million and it all came from Black investors. That is super dope. That's how you know that there's been an evolution in the space of fundraising and investing for Black founders. The next thing that I would say is there are more people inside of corporations pushing for, the success of Black founders. For example, Google, we've always had Google for Startups, but now we have the Black Founders Academy, which I know you were in, Tongayi, and we have the Black Founders Fund, where we give non-diluted funds. We have the Black Tech Accelerator, where we help you build out, your technology. And then I was the founder of a program at Google called Google's Black Tech Amplify. And in Black Tech Amplify, we take it even a step further from the Founders Academy and from the Tech Accelerator, where in Black Tech Amplify, we are actually helping those companies to not only continue raising money, but more importantly, we're helping them get access and exposure inside of Google. So then that turns into both strategic partnerships and strategic investments. And then we're even having conversations about what it looks like to exit, right? Because that's another thing that isn't talked about in the Black startup ecosystem that much, which is around like, what does an exit look like for you? Right? Not every company will be a unicorn, but just because you don't hit unicorn status doesn't mean that you won't be successful, or doesn't mean that you won't be able to exit. So I'm very proud of the work that Google has been doing. I'm very proud of Black Tech Amplify, which I was able to start as part of like Alphabet corporate development and cloud M&A. So these are the type things that I think are really changing the game as part of the evolution for Black founders, because again, it's no longer just about supporting or mentoring, but now we're talking about investments. We're talking about strategic partnerships, all of which is really good stuff. And that's why I said it's not always about the VC dollars, because if you can say, hey, I just got a $250,000 contract with Google for us to have an API of our technology, then that $250,000 contract is worth more than getting, some venture capital funding, because it shows that you have proven to Google and now they want to partner. Those things are really, really important. And these programs help drive access and exposure for those opportunities.
Great. I did like, the mentions that you had about Google for Startups, Google Founders Fund, Google Accelerator. So I guess we have been lucky. We went through an accelerator. So, they literally teach you a lot how to raise, who to reach out to. Like, for example, we're a marketplace. So if someone specifically is not focusing on marketplaces, don't reach out to them. But, it's things that you have to learn. So I guess my next question is, what resources do you recommend, either from Sega Capital or other platforms that you have seen that you can say, as a first-time founder or as someone who's just starting to look for funding, here are the resources that you need to take a look at for you to fundraise effectively? Because, you might go out there, reach out to 300 people and, get all no's. Which might not necessarily mean you have a bad business, or your startup is a bad idea, but maybe because the approach that you're taking is wrong.
No, that's a great question. And, of course, I could list off a ton of different places and things that they could, that this audience could benefit from. But for sake of brevity and also not to slight one, entity or organization over the other, what I would say is, first and foremost, is do your homework and study, like read up anything that is free and publicly available. Our Black founders should be taking advantage of. One small plug I would say for Y Combinator, right? Like, they have a vault of videos and articles that are just first class, right? Like, and you can learn so much. I mean, they have stuff and resources in that area free on their website that some folks have been paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for MBAs to learn, right? So I say that that's the first thing. The second thing is, as you think about fundraising and as you think about being a first-time founder, I think it's really important to also build network. Because Tongayi, if I can spend a moment just talking about this, I would say that to me is one of the greatest differences between Black founders and the Black founder ecosystem and non-Black founders and the non-Black founder ecosystem. I don't have to tell you, I don't have to tell this audience the differences, right? But we know that in the non-Black world, it is, hey, I know such and such, and, or my best friend's dad is a partner at such and such company, or, we played golf together last weekend, and so forth and so on, or our kids went to the same high school, and we were just talking at a Friday night football game, and I decided to write $1 million check. That's just not our story, right? But networking is still one of the most key components, and that's why I think it's so important. And again, kudos to you and AfriBlocks that we have these type of summits and these type of events, because if we're not talking to one another, if we're not leveraging our networks, then we're just not going to get there. And I think that's one of the greatest things that I have found to be successful in both my career, but also in my investing, experience. Folks are always like, well, how do you get so much deal flow? You must get it from, this place or that place. And I'm like, actually, it's because I'm talking to the right people. I'm in the right rooms, and I'm still not in as many as I would like to be in, right? But people call me and they say, hey, I know you work on X, or hey, do you know somebody that works on Y? And so I can't underemphasize the importance of networking. So while I would love to tell you, go to this website or go to that YouTube channel, I really want this audience to leave here today saying, what am I going to go do to build network? And with the things like LinkedIn and all the other platforms today, I just think it makes it so much easier, right? Like, find the VC firms that you're most excited about or that align with your mission. Don't go reaching out to those VCs, but instead go ask your friends who are also, startup founders, or your advisors, or your investors. Go ask them, hey, have you heard about this VC firm? Or do you know somebody over there? Or hey, do you even know somebody in this space that is similar to this company? That's where the magic is going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Like, intros are totally different from a cold email. So yeah, thanks for that. I did also get the point about networking, because I'll talk about one of our advisors, Alex Kamen. I actually met her like 5 years ago at South by Southwest. Then we kept talking, and then fast forward now, she's actually an advisor. She's actually coming up as a speaker on this panel as well. But the biggest point I wanted to make was, you might connect with someone today, that relationship might start to work out a year or 2 years from that. So just, create that network and then stay in touch, because, some of these things take time. But yeah, about to close, what things are you working on that you like audience to know, from either from Google or from Sega Capital, what people can expect within the next few months to apply to, anything at all?
Yeah, very good. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you again for having me here. This has been so much fun. I'm super passionate about this topic, but I'm also passionate about just supporting people that look like me. So again, kudos to you, Tongayi, to your entire team at AfriBlocks, and a very, very, warm hello, and to all of those watching this. The first thing I would say is Black Tech Amplified, that, like I said, I founded at Google to support Black founders to provide access and exposure to strategic investments, strategic partnerships, etc. We have now finished our second cohort, and we're continuing to grow. And so stay tuned for that. Reach out to me if you are, interested in learning more about that. I'm typically looking at post-seed or post-Series A companies. And then outside of Google with Sega Capital, I'm working on something that's super cool. And it is going to be, a solution for everything we've been talking about today. A space where we can help to solidify the success and sustainability of startup companies in an artificial intelligence driven platform that also helps them raise funds much faster and much more easily. So those are two things that I'm really excited about. You can feel free to check me out. I'm at Sega Capital on Instagram, Sega Capital on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is Wayne Kimball Jr. And of course, you can shoot me emails at Wayne, W-A-Y-N-E, at Sega Investments. And that's SEIGGA investments.com. So, Tongayi, you can attest for me. I answer emails. I'm always happy to support. And, I'm just so proud to be a partner with AfriBlocks. And I'm looking forward to the day where I can come over to the continent of Africa and engage with you.
We are ready for you. Come at any time. But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming onto this platform. And one thing I would like to share is it's so refreshing and it's so underrated to see a Black person, a person who looks like myself, doing amazing in this space. You're an investor, you're working at Google. This is why we created this platform, so that my daughter, my son can also see that you can be successful as a Black founder, as a Black entrepreneur. So I appreciate you so much for sharing the knowledge with us today. And he's shared his email, his website. Please do visit, get in touch with him and connect, which is what we're trying to do with the Freelancers Summit. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Tongayi. Take care, and wishing you the very best on a successful, enjoyable, and enriching 2022 Freelancers Summit. All the best.
All right. Thank you.